Hello, my wonderful, beautiful friends. Guys, welcome back to r/EntitledPeople, where people seem to think that they can do whatever the heck they want as rules don't apply to them and the world revolves around them. I hope you enjoy the tales today, subscribe if you haven't, and hey, try not to shake your head too much at these silly people. So my family and I went on vacation, and we visited the Jellyfish Museum, which was a massive aquarium dedicated to jellyfish. They must have had every species of jellyfish. Now, a few of the jellyfish tanks for some reason didn't have a protective lid on the top, and it was possible to stick your hand in there. That's a dumb idea for obvious reasons, as it had the label in Ukrainian and English telling you to not touch it. The translation wasn't great, something like, to put your hands in the water is forbidden, but you get the point. Well, my aunt was being a Karen, and she decided to touch them. She explained that she's touched many jellyfish, and she knows that this species is safe, as she's seen them on the beach. I told her that's not a good idea, but she told me to just be quiet, and she stuck her hand in the tank and ended up getting stung. As soon as she got stung, she starts screaming and yelling, and some old Ukrainians were laughing at her. An employee came over and he barely spoke English, but he said she was in the wrong for sticking her hand into the tank to touch the jellyfish. It was at this point my aunt goes full Karen. She asked for a manager. She then screamed that she's gonna sue blah blah blah. I was fed up and I told my aunt to shut up, and my mom told me that I need to respect my aunt as she's my authority. I told her no, the aunt was an idiot and that we should leave the employees alone. We went over to the clinic and she was fine, but she now wants to sue them and I told her to stop as it's her fault. Most of the family does agree, however, my mom's on her side, so what do you guys think? Guys, I think this one's such a no-brainer. If you see a sign that says, hey, don't put your hands in there, don't put your hand in there. I think we can all agree that what the aunt did was really stupid. The part where she sticks her hand in the tank, and the calling the manager and threatening to sue as well. And I have no idea why the heck the mom would take her side. How do you respect someone who doesn't respect and obey a basic sign? Okay, so this story happened on my 10th birthday, so it's been a while. And obviously I can't remember who said what, so I'm just gonna describe what happened. So my 10th birthday was coming up, and my mom invited her sister, my entitled aunt, and her two sons, cousin 1 and 2, to our house. They would stay for about a week, and as usual, they saw our house in the small rural village as some sort of holiday resort, as they were living in a city. My cousins found it boring to play with me outside, as they didn't know what to do without their consoles and toys, and thus mocked me for not having many cool games or gadgets to play with. Also, my parents were not rich, so no way would I have had game consoles back then. I had the second-hand Game Boy, but that was about it. My entitled aunt, however, well, she was rich, at least compared to us. So in short, I don't really get along too well with those brats, but okay. So I already knew that my two cousins would also get a present for what technically was my birthday. It's not really a tradition here, but it's also not uncommon that all the kids celebrating get something. When I came to visit for cousin 2's birthday, I also got a small gift, so totally fair. Also, I knew that both cousins would get bigger presents whenever one of the cousins celebrated to prevent them from fighting over a toy or be jealous or whatnot. I don't know, so I totally expected them to unwrap their own presents. What I didn't expect was this. So, the day before my birthday, my mom had to run errands and prepare some things, so she left me with my entitled aunt and the cousins. Entitled aunt announced that we would go shopping for presents at the recently opened Toys R Us store about 2 hours drive away. Now, I had never been there, so I was super excited. My mom was relieved and grateful, so we get in the car, and there, my aunt said something like, "Okay kids, you know the deal. Everybody just pick one thing. No skateboards, no big vehicles, no gaming consoles." So of course I thought I was included in this, and of course I started to imagine what I could get. I was getting so excited, thinking that today was the day that she was gonna buy me a great birthday gift. I was so happy. But I was plain wrong. She was just talking to my cousins. My entitled aunt did not tell me, but as soon as we got to the Toys R Us, she looked at me and told me to wait in the car. Now, I tried to argue this, but she told me that if I went inside, that I'd most likely want something and that she wasn't gonna buy it for me. I gave in. I told them there was nothing to do in the car, so she ended up letting me tag along. So for the next 40 minutes or so, I had to watch my cousins each pick and choose one thing that they would get for my birthday. They both ended up getting really nice Lego sets. The boxes were so big that they almost didn't fit in the trunk. I didn't even know there were sets this size. I didn't cry, but I was feeling terrible, so I was very quiet when we arrived home. My mom surely figured out what happened, and I can hear her yell at her sister that evening, but it was late, and I couldn't hear what it was about. The next day, it's my birthday. My cousins started to play with their Lego sets, ate most of my birthday cake, and mostly ignored me unwrapping my presents. My mom got me a really nice dark green summer jacket, and my aunt gave me a Barbie set because, well, I'm a girl. It was pretty expensive and quite large, but if she only knew me a tiny bit better, she would have known that Barbie isn't really for me. I had about 7 toy guns, a bow, some action figures, and Lego, but no Barbie. Well, luckily it had a slight Lara Croft resemblance, so in the end, I found a way to play with the thing. My mom later told me that she had no idea that my aunt would do this. She had thought my aunt didn't have a present for me, so she was taking me to the store to pick something that I'd like. But she was wrong. Ugh, guys, this story just breaks my heart. Just thinking about a 10-year-old girl getting absolutely nothing, while her aunt let her kids pick whatever they want in front of her is just terrible. And on top of that, the trip was 2 hours each way to Toys R Us. Guys, I have never heard of family members getting presents on a certain person's birthday though. First, a little backstory. So, I recently moved across the country, and it's very expensive to move furniture 2,000 miles away, so a lot of stuff is cheaper to just buy new. As I was separating my personal and sentimental belongings from what I was going to replace, I had a brilliant idea. I decided to offer the stuff that I wasn't taking with me for free, online, as most of the items were still in good condition. I'd rather my old furniture and assorted items go to charities and people who could use them instead of the landfill. My only condition was that the person taking something had to come pick it up and transport the item themselves. The first item I posted was my pull-up tower. It had some minor wear and tear, but it was still in overall great condition. It was then that I encountered the dreaded Karen. Now, thankfully, I only posted a newly created email account along with my town as my contact info to limit my exposure to potential threats. In this case, the irate Karen. There was no name and no address, just the town so people could assess travel for pickup. Soon after posting that my pull-up tower was available for free, I was contacted by this innocent kid. After an email correspondence, I suggested we talk on the phone, and I gave him my cell phone number. He called to discuss getting the tower. And this is the conversation. The kid calls and says, "Hi, I emailed you about the pull-up tower. I just started college at the state university in your town, and some friends and I are renting a house in your campus. I think we could really use the equipment to save money instead of getting a gym membership." I told him, you know what, college is expensive. I completely understand. Smart move on looking for ways to save money. I'd be happy to let you have it. I do have to let you know that you'll need to partially disassemble and reassemble it to get through the doorways. Nothing crazy. Just a couple of screws and bolts. It's surprisingly lightweight and easy to move. Although I do recommend a van or something large for transport. When do you think you can come pick it up? The kid says to me, I don't know, probably next month when I come for school. I told him, sorry, I'm moving in a couple of weeks, so I need it gone before then. If you can come sooner, it's yours. Otherwise, I'll have to give it to the next person. The kid then tells me, wait, can you let me call my mom to borrow her car for the weekend? It's a big SUV, and I should be able to swing by in a day or two. I tell him great. And this is when everything started to go horribly wrong. It was clear from what transpired next that whoever coined the phrase, "no good deed goes unpunished," had clearly met this Karen. So I get a phone call from the kid's phone and I answer saying, hello? His mom says, you can deliver my son's tower on Saturday at 10 a.m. At this I responded, what? Who are you? Karen says, I'm the customer. Are you stupid or something? I want you to deliver his workout equipment on Saturday. That's when I'm home to let you in. I'm very busy, you know. I tell her I'm not a store lady and I don't do deliveries. Karen says, what? How dare you? I'm a paying customer. I tell her, no, you aren't. The tower is free. I'm moving and I'm giving it away to your son. Karen screams, that's no excuse for treating a customer like this. Now, as she continued to scream nonsense at me, the image of the stereotypical Karen haircut popped into my mind. I don't know whether or not she had one, but I'm guessing she did. I could practically see the haircut in my mind while she ranted. Her son seemed so nice and polite. Then, her next comment snaps me back to attention. Karen says, if you don't deliver on Saturday, I'm gonna take my business elsewhere. I told her, fine by me, and then I hung up the phone. So later on, the kid emails me to apologize for his mom. Like I said, the kid was really nice, so I'm guessing maybe he takes after his father. He said he still wanted the tower, and I told him that he can still have it. He called me to get my address and directions, and that's when his mom reappears. I'm talking on the phone with the kid and he says, "So what time works for you?" I tell him I have some meetings earlier in the day, so I can meet you after 5 p.m. I'm in the northern part of town and I'll text you the address when I get home. Now in the background, I can hear the kid's mom screaming, asking who he's talking to. He tells her it's me, and she grabs the phone from him and she screams, "Oh, it's you again. I hope you've learned how to be respectful to your customers." I told her again, "You are not a customer. This is free. Can you put your son back on?" At this, she responds, "Not until we get some things straightened out." I ask her like what, and Karen says, "Okay, so if my son is gonna pick up and assemble this himself, you need to compensate him. That's the polite thing to do. $500 sounds fair." At this I said, "First, I'm not paying you to give your son something for free. Second, the item didn't even cost half that when it was new, so no and no." The woman then says, "Well, what's the warranty on the product in case it breaks?" I told her, "No money, no warranty. This is free as is. You take it or you leave it." She then tells me, "I need your company and warranty info just in case it breaks and my son hurts himself so I know who to sue. What if you guys don't make quality products?" I tell her again, "I'm not a company, I don't work for the manufacturer, I didn't make it, I'm just moving, and I'm giving it away, and I don't have time to deal with a lunatic off her meds. Forget it, your son is not getting anything from me." The woman tries to scream at me some more, and I hung up the phone. I ignored the rest of her calls, texts, and nasty voicemails that came throughout the day. There was also threats of suing me, demanding a refund, and claims that I was after her baby. It was so bizarre. I'm so glad I didn't post my address or my name in the ad. I ended up throwing out the pull-up tower and considered the matter over, and I was wrong. So Sunday morning rolls around and my phone rings. It's early, I was sleeping, and this woman calls me from a number that I don't recognize, and she screams, "Hey, where were you yesterday? I waited at the house all day for you to show up and deliver the workout tower. I'll accept your apology if you deliver it today." It was at this point I told her that I threw the tower away and I don't have time to deal with her. And she says to me, "What? Why would you throw out my property? How dare you throw away my stuff? I'm calling the police and you are getting arrested." I told her, "Go ahead and try. The tower belongs to me. I have the receipt. I also have the insane voicemails, threats, and texts from you, and you have nothing. You'll be arrested for filing a false police report, death threats, stalking, and probably more. Although, you probably have a good shot at an insanity defense." So I hang up and I didn't pick up after that. She kept calling and calling, but it didn't matter, as I was getting a new number soon when I moved. After one Karen, I took down my ad and made arrangements with a local charity run by a nearby church to pick up anything they wanted for the poor. Her son emailed me again to apologize for his lunatic mother. I told him that he did nothing wrong and he had nothing to apologize for. I told him I was sorry, that he missed out on a free pull-up tower and wished him the best of luck in school. Guys, I feel so sorry for the son in the story. He was just trying to save money, and his mom had to ruin it for him. I bet he was like, "Mom, can I borrow your car on Saturday? I need to go pick up this free piece of workout equipment from this guy." And she was like, "Pick it up? No. My son is not wasting my gas to drive across town for some used piece of junk. Hold my beer, son. I'll get him to deliver for you." And then that's how this crap show happened. Okay, so this just happened and I'm still pretty freaked out. So a bit of backstory. I'm a teenage girl living in Central Florida. Florida is really hot, like all the time. It's in the high 80s and I'm at the park with a sports field since I play softball. We were practicing on a Tuesday evening, so there were tons of little kids at the playground. We were practicing running the bases properly and sliding into the bases. For anyone who doesn't know, when you slide, you basically kick one of your legs out, putting the opposite one behind that leg, making a 4 shape. You slide across the clay on the ground to make it harder for the other team to tag you out. If you do it wrong, you can get hurt easily. Now, I may be an older softball player, but I've never actually learned how to slide. So me being a clumsy person ended up twisting the leg that was supposed to be straight and smacking my knee into the hard clay. It made a popping sound, and I'm pretty sure I dislocated it at the very least. It hurt a lot and I was crying. My dad wasn't present at the time because he went to go get a soda. My teammates put me on the closest park bench, which was right outside the playground, so it would be easier for my dad to pick me up to get me to a doctor. I'm done crying, but I'm very scared as I've never hurt my knees and I'm hoping it's not serious. I also have asthma, but not super serious. I only use my inhaler during sports, during phys ed, or when I'm having an anxiety attack. I had my inhaler in my bag, and my softball friend gets it for me since I'm having an anxiety attack over one of my knees being dislocated. I'm breathing in the medicine and trying to calm down when we meet the dreaded Karen and her kids. One of her kids stops and looks at me, probably because my knee looks weird and my eyes are red from crying. The other kid and the mom continued walking, but they stopped when they noticed that the brother wasn't with them. They then walk over to me and begin talking, and Karen says, "Hey, what's going on here?" My softball bestie says, "Oh, my friend hurt her knee at practice." Karen says, "Well, is someone gonna take her to the hospital?" And this is when her kid steps into the picture. The kid is young. He points at the inhaler in my hand and says, "What's that?" I tell him it's an inhaler. The kid then says, "A what?" I told him something I use to breathe better. He says, "Can I see it? You think I can hold it?" At this I say, no, I need this. At this point, the little kid whines to his mommy and screams, "Mom, I want it." The kid then tries to pry it from my hands. Now I'm utterly confused at this point and wondering how long it takes my dad to get a soda 10 minutes away and get back. I pull my inhaler away from the kid and he screams, "Give it back." The mom is telling me to give her kid my inhaler to hold. She's telling me that teenagers have no respect for adults these days. It was at this point when the woman grabs the inhaler from my hand. I'm shocked into the point of more tears. I start gasping for breath because I'm terrified that she's gonna run off and I won't be able to breathe. My friend is screaming at her to give it back, asking her what she thinks she's doing. And Karen says, "I'm taking this from you annoying teenagers." At this point, my dad runs up, and my softball friend tells him that this crazy woman just stole my inhaler. My dad politely asks her to give it back, and she screams that her kid just wants to play with it for a little bit, telling my dad she's too old to have asthma anyway. Now, my dad is not a small guy. My dad's about 6'6". He's broad. He used to be an Air Force officer, and he looks pretty scary sometimes. He says, "You are one of the stupidest people I've ever met." The woman at this point is screaming us to leave her alone and that she'll press charges, and my dad's asking her to just give it back so we can go as I'm injured. Karen says, "No, she's not. She's just being dramatic. Stop being racist and sexist. You men think you own everything." Now, I want to note that I'm white, her family's white, so how's that racist? I'm gasping for breath still. I hadn't been paying attention to her other kid, but he grabs the inhaler and he hands it to me. I was so grateful that I hugged the kid after getting my breathing back to normal. As soon as I hugged him, the woman screams at me to stop assaulting her son. Now, I'm so sick of the lady, and I just stare. Her other kid's crying, the mom's furious, and the boy just tells me to go. My dad picks me up to go, and that's what we do. The kid tried to hold back his mom, which surprisingly worked because this kid was pretty tall, and his mom was pretty small, and my softball coach came out to help him. We made it to a walk-in clinic, and they popped my knee back in. My friends, the stupidity of people never ceases to amaze me. Your kid is too old to have asthma. Give my kid your inhaler, which you supposedly don't need. It's so ridiculous. And that, my friends, brings us to another end of our /entitled people. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the stories today. And if you did, do remember to hit that thumbs up. And if you missed the last episode of our /entitled people, a Karen throws a tantrum on the plane because OP's eating meat beside her. She's a vegetarian. It's such a crazy story, so if you haven't heard it, go check it out. And myself and Steva will see you guys in the next one. We love you.